Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the CiL Prospect Series here from beautiful Phoenix Raceway for the Sandstorm 100. I'm Matthew Nordberg, your producer and commentator for tonight's race. We are in for some fantastic CiL action here at this 1 mile flat track in the desert. It's going to be a great race here tonight. Current weather looking like it's 78 degrees Fahrenheit, ambient with 18% humidity, clear skies, and a slight 3-mile-per-hour breeze. Track length is 1 mile, as I said earlier, 82 degrees Fahrenheit track temp, so not much of a difference between the ambient and track temp, but as we head into night for this race, expect that track temperature to cool off just a little bit. This super special track with that open dog leg right off the start as we come down into turns 1 and 2 is going to give a lot of opportunities for overtaking here and a lot of 3 and 4, maybe even 5 wide action off the start. But as we finish up our practice session here for some of our racers, we are in for a fantastic show tonight. Pretty strong field with 16 cars at the moment. Mix of alumni as well as some students in there. Mostly students, I should say, but just getting a couple views here as our drivers finish up their practice session. We are definitely in for a good race tonight. For those of you who are new to the CiL, this is our CiL Prospect Series. CiL runs 2 oval series. Monday nights we have the Prospect Series race. Tuesday nights we have the Premier Series race. And the Prospect Series is the chance for some of the newcomers to the CiL to show their stuff and race their way into the Premier Series on Tuesday nights, where they're going to be fighting for the big prize with the CiL veterans and some of the faster guys in there who have raced their way into the Premier Series, and just by pure speed, they kind of stay up there. A little bit of a promotion relegation style series we run here in the CiL, as we just ride along with a couple drivers who are trying to finish up some of their practice laps. We have about 2 minutes to go here in practice before drivers begin qualifying. Looking on board right now, we have Scott Ratliff in that 747 car from Pitt State University in the Ford. Gets a little loose there in 3 and 4. A lot more than a little loose. That's very loose as he spins out coming out of the corner. Just another driver we're going to look at is Muhammad Ali from Ball State University in the 12 machine. Just one thing to note in the CiL Prospect Series that we have alumni, as I mentioned earlier. Those cars will be driving 3-digit numbers. So we saw Scott Ratliff in the 747. He is an alumni from Pitt State University. And we see our Alif here in the double-digit car. He is a student. So those 2 separate classes in the Prospect Series, they do race for the same points, but in the Premier Series, classes are separated by points, so alumni and students are not fighting for the same championship at the end of the year. But in the Prospect Series here, no holds barred. You expect to see racing up and down the field as we come to the final couple seconds here of qualifying right now, as we continue to look on board with Muhammad Ali from Ball State University. He is one of our newcomers to the CiL this year. He is blazingly quick in the road series, a bit of an oval newcomer as he gets a little bit of green flag pit stop practice as he comes to pit road. But Muhammad Ali very quick on the roadside. He is dominating our championship at this point in the season in both Formula C and GT3 Challenge. But in the oval side, he's a newcomer from Singapore originally, now in the States for university at Ball State University, having a great program up there. A lot of different cars in the field from Ball State tonight. We're going to see their program represented very well tonight here in the CiL Prospect Series race, as practice now comes to an end, as we saw Muhammad Ali feel a little wide in his pit stop. But now it's time for the most important part of the night for some of these drivers at Phoenix. It's going to be a very tough track to pass. Very 2 different sides of the track. Turns 1 and 2, very, very flat. Almost, you got to be on the brakes very hard, almost a Martinsville-esque in some ways. But turns 3 and 4, much more banked. I'd say it's closer to a Richmond than any other type of track, just because it's a little bit of banking. It's a bit of a long sweeping corner. You're in there for a long time. But as qualifying starts now, we are looking at Scott Ratliff from Pitt State University in that 747 machine, warming up his tires, trying to get a little bit of grip in them before he starts his lap, coming through turns 3 and 4 now. We'll see what kind of lap he can do as we start to ride on board with the alumni driver. We'll see what he does coming to the green flag here. Hard on the brakes. He's going to take that top line and try to carry as much speed as possible to the start-finish line as he puts the foot to the floor, and he takes his first qualifying lap now. Scott Ratliff from Pitt State University, cutting that dog leg, takes a hard left, comes back up onto the banking and hard onto the brakes again into turns 1 and 2. very, very long corner. You have to really set yourself up for the exit because you get so much speed, and this is really where you want to set up your moves to overtake as he comes onto the backstretch now into 3 and 4, breaking at about that 2-cone mark as he goes to hug the bottom of the track right now. Coming to the line now to set his qualifying lap time, Scott Radliff from Pitt State University. He's going to go third. He's the first alumni, but he's going to be third overall at the moment as we have Zachary DeWale move up to the top of the timing boards right now. We'll ride on board with him as he continues to set his second qualifying lap as times begin to overlap on the timing tower. Zachary DeWale, the O2 car from St. Clair College, has shown a lot of speed in the CiL Oval Series, both Prospect and Premier this season, as he comes through turns 3 and 4 now, nicely on the brakes, out of turn 4 to the start-finish line. We'll see if he can improve on a 27.38, and he does. He sets a 27.32 that last lap by. He's got one more lap to improve on his time as other drivers continue to set marks throughout the field. Looks like we had Art Muhammad Alif just put himself into 5th place with a 27.47, only about a 10th behind our leader at the moment. It goes to show how close this field is in the CiL as Zachary DeWale comes around turns 3 and 4 for the final time in qualifying. We'll see if he can put one faster lap together, and he can't, or he does quite get there. That's a 27.29. So Zachary DeWale with a great qualifying effort from St. Clair College and improves on all of his lap times, sets a personal best of a 27.29. Right behind him is Connor Levy from Arizona State University. He set a 27.43, and Art Muhammad Alif also has a 27.43 as well. So that's going to have to go down to the thousandth of a second to determine that qualifying time. But I don't think we get that kind of granularity for qualifying on our screens as Connor Levy, the student, the 14 machine from Arizona State, running that maroon and gold livery. Always easy to spot with that car as he pulls into the pits and he decides no more for him in the qualifying. It looks like Austin DeLong also set a 27.43. So we have 3 cars from 2nd to 4th setting nearly identical lap times. And then Bradley Daniels in the 521 machine from Robert Morris University sets a 27.44. So drivers stacked on top of each other here in the top 5 in qualifying as we still have a little bit of time to go in qualifying, but it looks like most of our drivers have completed their qualifying laps now. It looks like the only one who is still out on track is Andrew McCall from Purdue University, the alumni in the 018 machine, driving that gold and black Chevy, riding the Highline right now. He might not have a qualifying time in the books right now, so we'll see what he can do in this qualifying setup right now. Current best lap is a 27.76. That's going to put him in the 10th position for qualifying at the moment. But I think he might just be getting some extra laps in after the qualifying because I'm not sure that the line he's taking is the fastest line. But we'll see what he does through turns 3 and 4. He's a bit high up the track, definitely higher than any of our other drivers tonight so far. Yeah, I don't think he's setting lap times that are going to count toward this qualifying session. I think he's just kind of getting a few laps in while we have the time to warm up for the race. But at the moment, Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College in the O2 machine on pole position with Connor Levy who is outside in the front row. Art Muhammad Alif set an identical lap time to Connor Levy in third, and Austin DeLong another identical lap time to Levy and Alif in second and third. He'll be in the 4th spot as he set that time last. Bradley Daniels only a hundredth of a second behind the 3 cars in front of him. He'll start 5th, and then from there we have a couple other cars. We have Garrett Viton. We have Rhett Crane, Tristan Yoder, Scott Ratliff, and Andrew McCall will round out your top 10 tonight for the CiL Sandstorm 100 from Phoenix Raceway. Quiet track at the moment as all the drivers have pretty much come into the pits. Looks like drivers 1 through 16 have pretty much set their qualifying time, so we have to let the iRacing timer just tick down ever so slightly and see if we can maybe advance the session forward rather than just wait another couple minutes. But should be a good race tonight. The racing in the CiL Prospect Series has been clean all year so far. Lots of green flag runs, so it's going to be very important for these drivers to really manage their tires on these runs and really practice also having to come in and take green flag pit stops. Those green flag pit stops can really make or break your race. You speed, you're definitely going to put a lap down to the rest of the field. If you miss your pit stall, that's going to hurt you as well. So drivers just trying to take the second after qualifying to collect their thoughts and get ready for this race. you see, I think this is Garrett Viton from Arizona State University, I believe. He just came across the line there and just spinning it out the tires and trying to find out that limit of grip. He was circling the track for a little bit, but he wasn't setting lap times at the moment. So still about 3.5 minutes to go in this qualifying session, even though everybody's already finished. That iRacing timer's got to click down and let everybody have a chance. There might be a few drivers in the field who maybe didn't complete their first or final lap, but we will have to see. As I mentioned earlier, 16 drivers throughout this field right now. 15 have set qualifying times. Current pole position is Zachary DeWale with a 27.28, or excuse me, 27.29, and then only about a second back is our 15th place driver in Ethan Decatur. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Decatur has a slow car. It just could be a bad qualifying time. But all of these drivers are so close in skill. That top five really stacked on top of each other. Really, the top six is Garrett Viton has an identical lap time to Bradley Daniels. So that I'd say top six, top seven, all within a tenth of each other pretty much, really hundredths of each other. So I expect to see a lot of close racing, and especially off the start. That dog leg at the start of the race in Phoenix is such an iconic part of this track and really makes it unique compared to any other track on the NASCAR schedule. Gives drivers the opportunity to make a quick move to the inside right off the start and potentially get that inside line going into turns 1 and 2 where it's very long, very flat. It's really going to be important to carry the entry speed into the corner. You want to carry the speed into the corner and as well as maximize your exit to really get a good chance to either make an overtake or potentially break away from the pack down into turns 3 and 4. We'll see if we can get a replay here of the qualifying time set by Zachary DeWale, our pole position driver. Here we go, just a quick replay of Zachary DeWale, who set the pole position time of tonight's Sandstorm 100 with a lap time of a 27.29. You see him on his outlap here. We'll see what kind of laps he can do and really how he prepared himself to get the absolute most out of his car for this race tonight. That O2 machine from St. Clair College. St. Clair College has a fantastic program up in Canada where they have a lot of support for their iRacing team. Zachary DeWale really leading the front along with Athena Leclerc on the oval side of things. Athena Leclerc, one of our stalwarts in the CiL Premier Series. She does a great job consistently running top 5, top 10, and she's a contender for race wins and top 5s week in and week out in that series. And Zachary DeWale, newcomer to the CiL this series, up there and hopes to be racing in the Premier Series tomorrow, as well as officially full-time next season as he begins his first, or he finishes his first lap here in qualifying. That's Zachary DeWale coming across the line. We'll go on board with Zachary DeWale in that St. Clair Chevy machine down into turns 1 and 2. Light on the brakes. You don't want to get too hard. A little bit of a lock up there and send him up the corner, but this is his second lap. You'll have another chance to take that pole position time we saw him set as a good exit from turn 2. Is going to set him up well for a good entry into turns 3 and 4. And you can notice here on the dashboard, he's in 4th gear most of the way, as it looks like our drivers have finished qualifying now. Didn't get to see the end of that lap, but Zachary DeWale is on pole position for the Sandstorm 100 tonight. But drivers will have a little bit of time to focus on their race setup in a quick little warm-up session between qualifying and the race as the night approaches here at Phoenix Raceway. The lights come on, and it's definitely going to make the track a little bit different. That lap time is going to come down, the track temp's going to come down, and that's going to really give these drivers some grip, and it's going to make them maybe a bit more aggressive, especially off the restarts where positions can be gained and lost so easily, especially with that dog leg right off the start of ZC Treston Yoder, the 09 car from Robert Morris University, in that blue and red Mountain Dew machine, making his way to the start-finish line now. Right in front of him is the Robert Morris teammate in Bradley Daniels. We're going to take a little bit of the moment, or as looks like Tristan Yoder actually comes to pit road there, but we're going to take a moment now and we're going to crank it up a little bit. Let you hear these V8 engines roar and these NASCAR Next Gen Cup cars. Just step aside, crank up that volume on your headset, on your earbuds, and listen to these cars go. I was a little bit of a crank it up action hearing those V8 engines roar around the desert here at Phoenix Raceway for tonight's CiL Sandstorm 100 for the CiL Prospect Series. Just a couple more minutes before we get underway here and take that gridding procedure in iRacing. Just a couple of quick notes before we start tonight. No restart zones in effect. Still a little bit of a work in progress in iRacing, so we're going to see drivers take the green flag on their own with no restart zone assistance, but drivers have been instructed to wait until the restart zone to actually go. Don't jump off the start, especially here at Phoenix, where the pace car enters pit road so early just because of how unique this pit road is. You enter pit road, and then you have the entire backstretch to pace before you get to the restart zone. Very unique in that aspect at this track. Most tracks, the pace car enters at the entry of turn 3. Here it enters the pit road at the exit of 2, so you got the whole backstretch to wait before you get to that restart zone. There's only a minute to go here in this warm-up session. Looking at Austin DeLong from Pennsylvania College of Technology. Austin DeLong, a CiL veteran. He's got plenty of experience under his belt. He's going to want to use that to his advantages. He's going to be lining up in the top 5 to start this race. We'll see if he can make up any spots off the restart and maybe climb his way to the top 2 or 3 before this race ends. But a couple other drivers to mention throughout our field right now. We looked at Muhammad Alif earlier on in the broadcast. We'll see what he can do starting in the top 5. Excuse me. A couple other Ball State cars in the field tonight. The number 6 of Rhett Crane in Ball State University. He'll be starting alongside his teammate, as well as another Ball State University machine. No, I think that's it for Ball State University. I think there's a couple of them from Ball State University. I think some of them just aren't here tonight, but mentioned St. Clair. St. Clair has a couple cars. Zachary DeWales, as we've already talked about. Garrett Viton in the 42 machine. He's from Arizona State. My bad. Victor Roldan from St. Clair College in the 16 car, that green and black St. Clair car. That's how you're going to recognize him, as well as Daniel Hunter in the 49 machine. He'll be from St. Clair College as well. But as we finish our warm-up session for the Sandstorm 100, we're going to get a look at our starting grid. Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College will start on pole position with a 27.288. Behind him, Connor Levy is going to start on the outside pole position from Arizona State. He set a lap time only a couple hundredths, 10th or so behind DeWale. Muhammad Alif is the front runner for Ball State University tonight in 3rd position, and outside of him is Austin DeLong from Pennsylvania College of Technology. Your first alumni in the field is Bradley Daniels from Robert Morris, and outside to him is Garrett Viton from Arizona State. We'll see if he can catch up to his teammate a few spots in front of him. Rhett Crane from Ball State in 7th, with Tristan Yoder to his outside in 8th from Robert Morris. Scott Ratliff from Pitt State University will line up in 9th, and then Andrew McCall from Purdue rounds out your top 10. Joshua Teagues from Buena Vista University is in 11th, with Daniel Hunter, another St. Clair car, in 12th. Victor Roldan from St. Clair in 13th. Who is outside is Matthew Warren in Valparaiso. Ethan Decatur in 15th from Valparaiso, as well as Jeff Pete from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities will line up in 16th, and that will round out your field here tonight for the CiL Prospect Series Sandstorm 100. These drivers are absolutely getting ready to go here. They're looking forward to a fantastic race as the pace car, has his lights off, and we're going to be getting ready to go here momentarily as the pace car pulls into pit road. Zachary DeWale leads the field to green down this long back stretch, pacing the field. A little bit of a gap behind him and Muhammad Alif. That O2 machine has led the field from green multiple times this season. We'll see if he can lead from start to finish, but I think Connor Levy and Muhammad Alif are going to have a few things to say about that as they come to the Geico restart zone now. Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College leads the field to green in the Sandstorm 100 from Phoenix Raceway. Great start from DeWale as they head down towards the dog leg. Has a great run, and it looks like Muhammad Alif wants to get a move done on Connor Levy behind him. Alif on the inside in the 12 and 14. Connor Levy to his outside. It looks like Alif is going to get that move done coming out of turn 2, but it looks like Connor Levy is going to try to fight that one back. Can't quite get there. Connor Levy, he's going to have to relinquish that second position to Muhammad Alif, but behind them, Austin DeLong and Bradley Daniels are fighting for that 4th position. Bradley Daniels goes deep to the inside through the dog leg. He might even have a chance to get a move. Looks like there's a crash in the back. Scott Ratliff involved. Looks like Garrett Viton involved as well, but we stay green right now. Bradley Daniels is trying to make a move to the inside of Austin DeLong. Can't quite get it done off the corner. Looks like a bit of a wiggle from Rhett Crane behind them, but Bradley Daniels in that white car. Austin DeLong on the outside in the 22 blue machine. Looks like around the outside there's going to be a lot of grip for Austin DeLong coming out of the corner. Almost hits the wall, but Bradley Daniels is going to try to shortcut the track and really use that dogleg to his advantage coming down into turn 2 now. Still side by side. Austin DeLong really using that middle line to his advantage to try and carry as much speed as possible, even though it's a longer way around the track. Looks like a little bit of side drafting from Bradley Daniels there as Austin DeLong will hold off Bradley Daniels into turn 3, but he's getting a little bit deep, and Bradley Daniels is going to have another chance to come back at DeLong here. Coming out of turn 4 for lap 4, looks like Bradley Daniels is going to go all the way down to the dogleg again. Bradley Daniels deep on the brake. He wants to get this move done as soon as possible because he can see his competitors flying up the field in front of him. He doesn't want to lose sight of those cars, as it looks like Austin DeLong gets a better exit off of turn 4, and now Austin DeLong is going to hold off, and Bradley Daniels kind of just sits back, tucks back in the line. We'll see if he makes another move later on, but at the front of the field, Zachary DeWale has pulled out a massive gap of 3/4 of a second from Muhammad Alif and Connor Levy, just a couple tenths behind them. But your closest battle on track right now between these 3 cars of Austin DeLong, Robert Morris University's Bradley Daniels, and Rhett Crane, as Rhett Crane gets the nose to the inside of Bradley Daniels. Can't quite get there, but he'll make a look into turn 3, and he's gonna have to hold off another lap here, as it looks like these 3 cars will continue their fight for another time around the circuit. Rhett Crane looking to the inside of Bradley Daniels once again, but can't quite get there. He kind of slides up the track a bit. He's going to have a poor exit here potentially. Almost hits the wall, a little bit of a wiggle there, but it looks like a little bit of wiggle from Bradley Daniels as well, and I think that's going to let Rhett Crane peek a nose to the inside going into turn 2, but Bradley Daniels really using that middle line there that he saw Austin DeLong use to defend from him. He's going to try it out and see if he can gain some speed from there, but it looks like Rhett Crane is going to get to the inside of Bradley Daniels. The two will go side by side into turn 3. Bradley Daniels on the outside, Rhett Crane on the inside from Ball State. Robert Morris going side by side out of the corner. Across the stripe, it's going to be Rhett Crane leading that lap, but these two are still side by side as Rhett Crane cuts the dogleg hard down into turn 1. Rhett Crane is going to get the move done and move himself up into the top 5. Now he's going to set his sights on Austin DeLong behind, or in front, excuse me. Up at the front of the field, looks like Zachary DeWale's advantage has cut a couple tenths as Muhammad Alif gets to about 6/10 of a second, almost 5/10 of a second that last time by. But I think our biggest mover right now in the race looks to be Joshua Teagues from Buena Vista University. He's up 3 spots right now after starting in the 11th position. He's currently in 8th. A couple other guys who have moved up a few spots. Daniel Hunter and Victor Roldan, both from St. Clair College, up 2 spots, as well as Rhett Crane, we're on board with now. He's up 2 spots. Rhett Crane chasing down the 22 car of Austin DeLong right now. You can see the difference in lines those two cars are taking. DeLong wants to hold that middle line and really carry as much speed as he can, but Rhett Crane wants to get low. As Rhett Crane gets the dive bomb down towards the inside there, Rhett Crane, aggressive move into turn 3, but it looks like they're going to continue to be side by side coming out of the corner, and Rhett Crane's going to not quite cut the dogleg as aggressively as I was expecting them to there, but good job from DeLong holding the corner. But Rhett Crane wants to take the shortest line around this track, as Austin DeLong wants to take the line that gives him the most speed coming out of the corner, and it looks like Rhett Crane can't quite get there, and he's going to lose some speed off the corner as he comes back into the clutches of Bradley Daniels behind him. Yeah, you can really see the difference in those two lines between Rhett Crane and Austin DeLong, and I think the inside line is a bit faster, but you can't really carry the speed off the corner if there's a car up on your outside like we've seen the last couple laps. As Rhett Crane dives to the inside here of Austin DeLong, Rhett Crane with an aggressive move once again into turn 3. He really wants his position here, but he can't quite get it done. He's going to try to cut that dog leg and make a position before they get into turn 1, and it looks like he just can't quite get there again. Austin DeLong doing a very good job of holding speed. Looks like Connor Levy was up in the wall there in turns 3 and 4. A bit of a interesting, turn of events there from Connor Levy. I don't know if Connor Levy just got loose or anything, but Rhett Crane goes to the inside again. He's on the apron of turns 3 and 4, and I think Austin DeLong knows it's coming every time now almost, and he's just going to hold that middle line and try to pinch Rhett Crane and make sure that he can't get the exit speed he needs to keep that fight going. As 14 laps down, this is a long race, 100 laps for these drivers. It's going to be a race where mental focus is going to be a big factor. This is going to be the longest race of the season in terms of number of laps turned for these Prospect Series drivers this evening. One of the benefits, or one of the downsides, some might say, of short track racing is to get the same distance covered, you got to turn more laps. So it gives more opportunities to overtake, but also gives more chances for mental fatigue to set in, as Bradley Daniels is way up the racetrack there, almost in the third groove in turns 1 and 2. And he's lost a little bit of time from Rhett Crane in front of him. But behind Bradley Daniels, Tristan Yoder, his Robert Morris University teammate, is in 7th, and Joshua Teagues, we mentioned earlier, up 3 spots in 8th. Looks like at the front of the field, though, Zachary DeWale has pulled out his advantage back to 3/4 of a second over Muhammad Alif. Looks like Muhammad Alif is really having a handful to deal with that car. But further back to the field, Scott Ratliff, we saw him involved in a little bit of an incident earlier, trying to make a move on Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College. Scott Ratliff on the bottom in that red and yellow pit state machine on the top. That's going to be Daniel Hunter in the green and black St. Clair College car. And it looks like Scott Ratliff is going to get that move done going into turn 3 as they come across the stripe now for lap 18. Excuse me, that was Victor Roldan that Scott Ratliff just passed, not Daniel Hunter. Apologies for that. Both of them in the green and black St. Clair College cars. It's one of the benefits of having teammates is that you have people to bounce ideas off of, but as a commentator you can kind of mix cars up sometimes. So we need it to be like in real NASCAR, where they got different paint schemes, different colors. Throw a blue paint scheme on Victor, throw a green paint scheme on Daniel Hunter. Easier to identify. But I digress. Back up at the battle we were watching earlier with Austin DeLong and Rhett Crane. That 6 machine from Ball State University just can't quite get the move done on DeLong. DeLong has done a fantastic job of just holding off Rhett Crane, running his own line, and really dictating the pace of this battle. But Rhett Crane, you see how badly he wants to get the move done. You saw him slide all the way up at the track in turns 3 and 4 there. He's pushing really hard to get this move done and try to get some clean air. It can be very difficult to pass to this track. We saw a lot of that earlier between this group, actually, of Red Crane trying to pass and DeLong defending very well. It looks like Red Crane's really trying to run the line that DeLong isn't now. When when DeLong goes to the bottom, Red Crane's going to go to the middle, or he's going to go high. And when DeLong goes high, Crane's going to go low. But that's giving Bradley Daniels the opportunity to catch back up to Red Crane. We saw those two battling earlier. Further up towards the front, though, this battle for second position has heated up. Connor Levy has come into his own. He's found a lot of pace that last lap by. He ran a 28.48. That was the fastest on the track. I think Connor Levy's looking for longer run pace right now as he gets up to that back bumper of R. Muhammad Ali from Ball State University. We'll see how Connor Levy sizes up this move here momentarily. We'll see what lap times they have when they cross the stripe again. But 0.2 faster Connor Levy was against R. Muhammad Ali that last time by. This last lap, another 10th quicker Connor Levy over R. Muhammad Ali, and he was the quickest on the track again. So Connor Levy has really found some pace in that 14 Arizona State machine. I think Zachary DeWale had a moment as well as he set a 28.9. That was 3, 4, 5 tenths slower than the cars behind. So this front three battle is really picking up now as Connor Levy looks to move himself up into the second position. Coming through the dogleg, R. Muhammad Ali cuts it. Connor Levy takes the track as normal. I don't know if R. Muhammad Ali thinks it's going to help him much, but there's a negligible time difference between the two methods of getting around the dogleg. But it looks like Connor Levy gets really loose coming off of turn 2. Saves it really well, but that's going to cost him a ton of time as he keeps it really high coming out of turns 3 and 4. That's an interesting line. I don't know if there was a mistake going into the corner or if he just wanted to see if that line would give him some clean air. But lost a lot of time that last lap, 7 tenths to the cars in front of him. We'll see if Levy can recover, maybe make up some time that he just lost. DeWale and Elite both set identical lap times almost that last time around, 28.8, separated by only 100th of a second. As it looks like Austin DeLong has found his legs, and he's really gotten to the back of Connor Levy now. That mistake from Levy, and I think DeLong's race pace has kind of played into a bit of a blunder here for Levy, and I think he's going to be defending more than he was attacking now. As that last time by, looks like DeLong had the fastest lap on track with a 28.63. Best lap was a 27.7, so about these cars have dropped off about a second and a quarter from their best lap time so far as we hit the quarter mark of this race as we start lap 26 now. As DeWale has pulled out about a second gap up front as Austin DeLong now looks to size up and move into the top 3. I think that veteran presence from DeLong has really helped him in this race, and I think knowing to manage the tires is definitely a key factor for this race. As we see DeLong, he's a bit further back behind this lead group, and I think he's really saved his tires very well because the last time by, he was the quickest on the track. They come across the stripe. Now we'll see what kind of lap time these guys put in. Looks like DeLong set a 28.8 and Levy a 28.7. Looks like Levy was the fastest one on track that last time. It looks like Levy's loose again in the turns 1 and 2. That car is wicked loose for Levy. It's going to be hard for him to control as he loses even more time to the cars in front now. Levy doing a good job to hold on to what he's got right now, but these fixed setups are definitely providing a handful for some of these drivers. That's going to give DeLong the opportunity, really saving those tires. But further back, Bradley Daniels and Red Crane, these two were at it earlier, and it looks like Bradley Daniels wants to get back that top 5 position he lost to Crane earlier. Outside line for Daniels, inside line for Crane. They come out of turn 2 now. Bradley Daniels was about a 10th and a half back earlier, but he's lost a bit of time through turns 1 and 2. Maybe just wasn't comfortable in the dirty air that close behind Red Crane, as he had to back up and really size up another chance here. Maybe Red Crane made a mistake that we didn't get to see that cost him some time. Bradley Daniels, maybe a little bit of food for thought in the back of his mind as they both take the middle line there through turns 1 and 2. Looks like Red Crane gets a little bit loose. That's going to give Bradley Daniels the chance to get to his rear bumper and maybe stick and move around the outside here going into turns 3 and 4, but not quite. Rhett Crane's going to hold that inside line valiantly, and he's going to hold on to that 5th spot for now. But that is the question. How long can Rhett Crane hold on to that spot as Bradley Daniels ducks to the inside of the dogleg? They're going to go side by side here, coming out of the dogleg. Can't quite get there. Bradley Daniels is going to have to sit behind him for another couple corners as they come out of turn 2 now. Bradley Daniels is now sitting about 4/10 of a second behind Rhett Crane. Elsewhere throughout the field right now, Daniel Hunter, the 49 car from St. Clair College, St. Clair College car, say that 3 times fast, is trying to make a move here on the 28 of Joshua Teagues from Buena Vista University. 1/4 of a second separating those two, but also Rhett Crane close, Austin DeLong close. These two go side by side now, going down the backstretch into turn 3. Daniel Hunter on the inside, Joshua Teagues on the outside. Looks like Hunter's going to get that move done under braking into the middle of the corner. Great move from him as he moves up another spot into the 9th position. But Rhett Crane and Bradley Daniels are going side by side once again through turns 1 and 2. These two have been going at it for a couple laps now. At the front of the field, DeWale has pulled out a 2-second gap almost on R. Muhammad Leaf. That gap is at 1.8 seconds at the moment. Intense battle here as R. Muhammad Leaf, I think, has burned up his tires as Connor Levy has gotten back to his rear bumper, and Austin DeLong joining as Levy looks to the inside into turn 1, but thinks better of it as R. Muhammad Leaf gets a little bit deep into the corner. He's loose, trying to get that car turned and pointed the right way down the backstretch out of turn 2. I think it's only a matter of time before Levy gets the move done on the Leaf, but he's got to think about Austin DeLong behind him, and he's got to attack and defend at the same time. It's not a position that I envy. Coming down to turn 1, DeLong not quite close enough to make a move, but Levy thought he had enough of a gap to make a move on R. Muhammad Leaf there. They go side by side out of the corner, down the backstretch. It looks like R. Muhammad Leaf is going to have a bit of a better exit there, having that outside line as Connor Levy wants to get another nose to the inside, but can't quite get there as they come across the stripe again. It's going to be another lap for R. Muhammad Leaf in the 2nd position, but for how long can he hold on to that position? Levy to the inside, a Leaf to the outside as Levy sticks a nose down on the inside of turns 1 and 2. He's going to go up the racetrack and try to get side by side, door to door with the Leaf. They're going to come out of turn 2 side by side. I think the Leaf's going to have the better exit, though. They're still neck and neck going down into turn 3, and they can't quite get it done. Levy, I think, really good in turns 1 and 2. He's got the tire wear compared to a Leaf, but Leaf is having good exits and good entries into turn 3. It looks like Austin DeLong wants to go side by side with Connor Levy now. Those two guys have been at it for a couple laps. Another lap, no movement so far, but the movement is coming as Levy to the inside, Leaf to the outside, and I think Leaf knows that if he holds that outside line, he can just get the run into turn 3 that he wants in order to keep that position for now. These guys are racing so close at the moment. They're pretty much under a blanket. I think when one of them slips up, they're going to lose a couple positions here. And I think Austin DeLong is sizing up a move to the outside of Levy now. Those two side by side through the dogleg. DeLong backs out of it just in a moment. And Levy down the inside again in turns 1 and 2. And DeLong, I think, wants to see if he can just follow a Leaf around the outside, as it looks like he's going to have a better run than Levy down into turn 3, but they stay nose to tail for now. That's giving Zachary DeWale a massive advantage out front at the moment. Zachary DeWale has a 4-second lead over this lead pack we're looking at right now. Absolutely fantastic stuff from DeWale at the moment, but this battle on the track is amazing as well as Levy dives down to the inside of turn 1. We'll see if he can get the move done going side by side through turn 2. Levy's a bit further ahead this time than he's been in the past couple laps, but that great exit for a Leaf coming out of the corner, but he gets a little bit loose and he's going to lose a lot of speed coming down the backstretch, and it looks like Levy's going to have the inside line into turn 3. He's going to get the move done. Austin DeLong wants to follow him through and move himself up into 3rd place as well. I mentioned it earlier, if one move happened, I think the guy who got overtaken was going to lose a couple, and I think that's exactly what happened. I think the Leaf just got a little bit loose coming out of turn 2, and I think that lost a lot of speed for him down the backstretch, and that gave both Levy and DeLong the opportunity to make the move up into the podium positions here in the CiL Prospect Race from Phoenix Raceway. Your current leader, Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College. out of the field, out of the picture at the moment. He's 4.5 seconds ahead of second place driver Connor Levy from Arizona State, and third right now, looking at Austin DeLong from Pennsylvania College of Technology. I think DeWale's main goal at the moment is now just to keep it under control, as it looks like Muhammad Alif is really under pressure now from Bradley Daniels too. I think Alif has burned up some of his stuff earlier on in this race, and he can't wait for pit stops to come. Should be seeing green flag pit stops around lap 50 to split this race in half. Will give the drivers an opportunity to get some fresh rubber and really think about how they want to approach the second half of this race, as no cautions in this race so far, as it looks like Alif under pressure from Bradley Daniels now. To the back bumper Daniel gets, but he can't quite get there to slow him down. I almost thought there was contact between the two of them coming out of turn 2. Bradley Daniels, the 521 car from Robert Morris University, chasing down Muhammad Alif from Ball State in that 12 machine. At the front of the field, it looks like DeWale is starting to lap some of our drivers. At the tail end of the field, looks like Decatur is getting lapped at the moment. It looks like we had a little bit of contact between Daniels and the wall coming out of turn 4, but no harm, no foul. As we see further through the field, it looks like Andrew McCall, Joshua Teagues, Ethan Decatur, maybe there was a bit of fight between them, and I think Daniel Hunter is trying to move up the field as well, as Bradley Daniels tries to make another move here, get to that inside quarter panel, as it looks like Muhammad Alif is really loose coming out of the corner. He was almost drifting through turns 3 and 4. That's going to give Bradley Daniels the position and move himself into the top 4. Alif still in that 5th position with a bit of a gap behind him to 6th. We saw Rhett Crane earlier, and I think he's suffering some of the same. Oh, he drifts through the corner. He gets the contact between the 6 and the 49, as it looks like they both do a fantastic job trying to keep it under control. It looks like Rhett Crane's coming to pit road. I don't know if that's accidental or if that's on purpose, but drifting his way through the corner as Austin DeLong now makes a move for Connor Levy up into the 2nd position. DeLong has the inside line going into turns 1 and 2. We saw how good that outside line worked for Muhammad Alif, and it's going to work for Connor Levy as well, as he keeps the 2nd position out of turns 1 and 2. You never know what corner numbers are around this track. They've reconfigured it so many times. But Austin DeLong couldn't quite get the move done out of turn 2, and that's going to give Connor Levy a little bit of space, but not for long, as I think Austin DeLong is sizing up another move here momentarily. DeLong has done a fantastic job on his tires in this first stint. It's given him some rapid pace now. A couple other cars in the pits that we mentioned. Andrew McCall pitted, Rhett Crane pitted. Again, not sure if that was accidental pit from Rhett Crane after spinning, or if that was on purpose, and I think he just spun trying to get to pit road maybe. But great job by Daniel Hunter. He got, Rhett Crane trying to get to pit road, I think, got that quarter panel of Daniel Hunter, and Daniel did a fantastic job of recovering the car, and I don't even think he lost any positions either. He pretty much had to, save his car from spinning out, and he didn't even lose a spot. So pretty impressive stuff from the St. Clair car of Daniel Hunter. Ethan Decatur, the 00 machine from Valparaiso University, comes into pit now. He's in the 9th spot currently, as pit stops starting to happen now in the CiL Prospect Series race here from Phoenix. Sandstorm 100. Looks like things have started to even out a little bit. We'll see if we can get the moment that Rhett Crane kind of started spinning out, but this battle on track right now heating up between Connor Levy and Austin DeLong. We'll see if we can get a replay of that little spin potentially. Oh, that's Rhett Crane coming into the pit, so I think we were a bit late for that replay. But at the front of the field still, Connor Levy in that 2nd spot at the moment, holding off Austin DeLong in 3rd. These two have been racing side by side, nose to tail, all race long, and it's a closer battle on track. Tristan Yoder now comes into pit. That Robert Morris machine, the 09, comes into pit, gets some fresh rubber, and see if he can undercut some of the cars around him. Current lap times are sitting in the mid 29s, 29.3, 29.4-ish in the top of the pack. That's about 2 seconds slower than their best lap time. So an undercut here is going to be a massive advantage to whoever is brave enough to do it. But if you undercut, you do risk the caution coming out and putting you a lap down, as DeLong here is going to have a great run coming out of turn 2, but he can't quite get the power down as he would have liked, as they go into turn 3 now. Nose to tail, this front pack here, Levy, DeLong, and Bradley Daniels They've been together for a while now, and it's going to be interesting when they come to pit road, see which one of them comes first, because I think if one of them comes before anyone else, I think that's going to give them a major advantage. As it looks like Connor Levy now is going to come to pit road, and that's going to relinquish that second position to Austin DeLong, but Bradley Daniels is going to try to get that second position before they even get back to the stripe. Connor Levy into pit road, Muhammad Alif into pit road as well, but the battle for the second position right now between DeLong and Daniels has a bit of a run through the middle of turns 3 and 4, but he's going to have to let up a little bit to not hit the back bumper of DeLong as they come down into turn 1 now. Behind them in that red and yellow car, that's Scott Ratliff. He's currently 1 lap down as both DeLong and Daniels come down to pit now. And I think the only car who has yet to come to pit road in the front group is Zachary DeWale. Looks like Connor Levy still on pit road at the moment. Daniel Hunter also comes to pit road. We'll see if Joshua Teagues come to pit road as well, and he will. That's pretty much all your lead lap cars coming to pit road, except your leader, Zachary DeWale. I think he's going to use that massive gap he pulled out up front. Multiple seconds he had. I think it was 5 seconds by the time everyone else came to pit. We'll see if he wants to put half the field a lap. Well, not half the field, the entire field a lap down. Maybe even 2 laps down for some of the drivers, as it looks like coming out of the pits now. A couple drivers. Looks like Connor Levy might have had some issues on pit road. He might have been caught speeding, or he maybe missed his pit stall. But Connor Levy's behind Rhett Crane now. Not sure if that's due to strategy or if it's an issue with his stop. That could just be the way things have played out. I think Rhett Crane, Scott Ratliff both came to pit road very early on. Yeah, Austin DeLong coming out of pit roads now. Treston Yoder, Bradley Daniels. It looks like Connor Levy is going to be in front of Austin DeLong by a significant margin. Can't quite see the gap on the tower right now, just because the entire field is a lap down, because Zachary DeWale, he's kind of toying with his food right now, it seems. You know, he wants to put the field as many laps down as he can, but he's going to have to come to pit road soon, or he's going to lose the lead because of the pit stop cycle. Scott Ratliff is currently in the second position, 1 lap down on the track. He is about 33 seconds behind Zachary DeWale in terms of on-track time, but looks like Andrew McCall, the 018 car from Purdue, is going to try to... He's 2 laps down currently, so he wants to get one of his laps back as soon as he can, as Scott Ratliff doesn't want to give that one up so easily, but he holds the outside line through turn 1, and that's hard to fight. As we got a caution now, caution in the field. It looks like Garrett Vitton crashed, and that's going to be an absolute godsend for Zachary DeWale. That's just what he wanted. It's going to put the entire field 1 lap down in this caution. They'll get the wave around, of course, but DeWale loves to see that, because he was going to have to come to pit road sooner or later, and just best time to do it is when you're the only car on pit road under a caution. Absolutely incredible. We'll get a replay of the crash from Garrett Vitton in just a moment here. Here we go. Coming into turns 1 and 2, he gets way low on the track, way below the apron. I think he's coming to pit road, actually, and he just spins out, and I think that's going to hurt. Yeah, it looks like he's trying to come to pit road. He just avoids some of the cars coming out of turn 2. So, unfortunate from Garrett there. Definitely didn't mean to spin, and I think he decided to stay out just because he knew he was going to get a penalty for entering a closed pit lane. But Zachary DeWale, our leader, gets a bit of a lucky break, as he is the only car on the lead lap, and the caution comes out. It puts the entire field a lap down, and they're going to have to take the wave around before this next green flag. DeWale, he literally just cannot speed. Take it 5 miles below the speed limit on the pit road, doesn't matter, because he had no pressure whatsoever coming down pit road, being the only car allowed on pit road this time by. As it looks like all our lead lap cars are starting to unlap themselves now, technically, but they'll be led by the pace car momentarily. As DeWale, our leader, he's led from the start so far. He's been absolutely dominant through this race. He's had multiple second leads pretty much since the start. As he comes out of pit road now, and it looks like Scott Ratliff is going to get the honor of leading the field under the pace car at the moment. He's so far behind it. It looks like he's got the lucky dog, actually. So Rhett Crane is going to be the first car 1 lap down. You know, Rhett Crane, we saw him at the start of the race, kind of mixing it up with Austin DeLong, Bradley Daniels, but I think his tires just burned up a bit too quick, just like his teammate, Muhammad Alif. It looks like Scott Ratliff actually came to pit road there. I guess knowing he was going to be on the tail end of the lead lap no matter what, he might as well go into pit and get some fresh rubber, expecting this race to potentially go green the rest of the way as Garrett Viton from Arizona State University pits as well. But man, what a lucky break for Zachary DeWale. I don't think he was too worried knowing that he had such a lead built up before the pit stops that he didn't think he was going to lose the lead. But it's always nice to have the caution come out when you're the only car in the lead lap. Throughout the field right now, our biggest mover at the moment is Scott Ratliff. He's up 7 spots. Starting in the 9th position, he's now second. Excuse me, Rhett Crane is up 4 spots. He's currently sitting third. He'll be the first car to get the wave around, who's 1 lap down, but there are a couple cars in front of him who are 2 laps down, technically 1 lap down now after the wave around. As it looks like the pace car lights are going to go off this time by, I believe, at the front. I believe that's, can't quite tell who's leading the pack right now under the safety car. Yeah, as the pace car lights go out, the entire field is going to go past the safety car except our leader, Zachary DeWale. This will be a very, very interesting restart. I think really the only other cars. Yeah, it looks like the entire field's going to have to go around. I think DeWale's a bit worried now. Like, go, everybody go, get past the pace car. Come on, let me get to the pace car to have a proper start here. Because he's going to have pretty much half a track in terms of distance between himself and the pace cars. The pace car's pulled off into pit road now. This is going to be a very chaotic start as the closest challenger to Zachary DeWale is 8 seconds behind, 9 seconds behind as they come to the start. But Zachary DeWale, all by himself, will take the green flag for this restart after the first caution period in the Sandstorm 100. Zachary DeWale takes the green. Ooh, there might be the start might have been waved off by race control, and it looks like it has been. Too much chaos from all these cars getting waved around. I think Zachary DeWale is a little bit upset by that. As Scott Ratliff is going to be the car that's behind the. Oh, we got a little bit of contact, a little bit of incidents behind it. I don't think people realize that the pace car was pulled out for another lap. I think there's probably a bit of argy-bargy on the radio about that, as DeWale is going to be the only car on the lead lap who's allowed to start behind the pace car. Everybody else is going to have to start single file behind him just because they were waved around the pace car. Days of old, just like old school NASCAR, single file restart essentially here in the CiL. It looks like what is happening behind a little bit of chaos is that I think they're all stacking up, not knowing what's happening, who to be behind, as they Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College leads the field here. It's going to be Scott Ratliff, who's a couple cars back in this pack. I think there's a couple lap cars between them. So that's going to give DeWale some relief off the start here. With his fresh rubber coming to the Geico restart zone, he's going to be given the green flag to start from lap 60. He's got 40 laps to go here in the CiL Prospect Series race from Phoenix Raceway. Further throughout the field, looks like we're going to have a bit of a chaotic battle here as Tristan Yoder is looking to make a move here on Austin DeLong for position. It's going to be important to preface what's for position and who's being lapped, what's being lapped. It's very chaotic out there after that restart, just given that the only car in the lead lap was Zachary DeWale, as there's a bit of a gaggle here now with Connor Levy on the inside of Jeff Pete in that 119 machine from Minnesota University, or Minnesota Twin Cities University, University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Same words, wrong order. But Jeff Pete trying to hold off here, but he's a lap down. It looks like he gets to the back of Ethan Decatur. Crash! Jeff Pete, excuse me, can't even say the words, gets into the back of Ethan Decatur, the double zero car, and the second caution of the night comes out. Wow, it just looks like Jeff Pete was way too late on the brakes. He's got damage in that front left. He had contact with Bradley Daniels for the 521 car from Robert Morris. Tristan Yoder from Robert Morris that you see behind him, maybe a little bit upset. We're going to get a replay of that here momentarily. Second caution of the night here in the Sandstorm 100. That's definitely going to give it a little bit of relief to Connor Levy, Rhett Crane, Scott Ratliff, who were stuck behind some lap cars, to our leader, Zachary DeWale. Yeah, that wreck took out a lot of good cars. We're going to get a replay here. Gonna have to rewind a couple. Yeah, coming down into turn. Oh, we're still a little too early. Coming down into turn 1 here, that red and yellow car of Jeff Pete, the 119 car from University of Minnesota Twin Cities, a little late on the brakes, gets into the back and maybe even the side of Austin DeLong. That gets Tristan Yoder into the mess. You see that 09 machine, the Mountain Dew car, just piling in there, just nowhere to go, as his teammate from Robert Morris University, Bradley Daniels, arrives on the scene and just gets sideswiped by the Minnesota machine of Jeff Pete, and he heads straight into the wall. We see Garrett Viton doing a good job of avoiding the carnage, heading to the inside, but super unfortunate. A couple cars just couldn't stop in time, and I think some cars who were stopping in time pretty much just got rear-ended there. An unfortunate incident all around. It's definitely gonna dampen some of the spirits of these drivers. I think Austin DeLong was almost in it. I think he was just past the incident when it started. I think he got sideswiped out of it as DeLong on the apron there, so maybe he carried that incident the entire way through the turns 1 and 2. But back to our live action now. Brett Crane comes into pit, Bradley Daniels, pretty much everyone who was involved in that crash has come into pit. But this pretty much resets the field now. The Whale, though, will have the freshest tires of the bunch at the front of the field. Pacing here at lap 65 out of 100 in the Sandstorm 100 for the CiL prospect race. Pretty eventful race so far. Our current leader, Zachary DeWale, took the pole position and really drove away from the field off the start. A bit of battling from pretty much second through fifth really gave him the opportunity to do that. But now we get into the portion of the race where I think tires are going to play an important role here. I think Zachary DeWale got lucky being the last person to come to pit road due to a caution when he was the only car in the lead lap. Behind him are a couple cars who came to pit road during green flag cycles. They have a bit older tires. Scott Ratliff, Connor Levy, R. Muhammad Alif, all cars who have older tires. Austin DeLong in that group as well. Tristan Yoder was in that last accident, so I believe he came to pit road and got some tires. So the freshest tires on track, I believe, are of the 09 car in the 6th position. But we're getting ready to restart here in the CiL Prospect Series race. Drivers pacing their way down this long back stretch. Always getting a little bit antsy here. It looks like a little bit of misorganization in the back as drivers pass one another for some reason, maybe cars out of position. But Zachary DeWale on the inside to his outside Scott Ratliff as they come to the Geico restart zone here after caution number 2 of the Sandstorm 100. And DeWale is going to get the opportunity to put his foot down and go green here. Great jump as Scott Ratliff goes super high up the track. And that's going to give Connor Levy the opportunity to make a move down into the dogleg and into turn 1. Scott Ratliff on the outside in that yellow and red car. He gets overtaken, but further throughout the field, Austin DeLong under pressure from R. Muhammad Alif as they go side by side through turn 2. Coming out of turn 2, that's R. Muhammad Alif in the lead in that white and red Ball State University machine. He's going to be looking to make a move around the outside of Connor Levy here momentarily, but Connor Levy does a good job of holding the speed through the corner as Scott Ratliff was able to hold off the challenge from Levy earlier, as it looks like Alif is going to go right to the bottom of the dogleg and make the move on Connor Levy here. We saw Connor Levy had great long run pace last time. R. Muhammad Alif had really good short run pace. We'll see what wins out here as short run pace wins after 2 laps in this green flag cycle. R. Muhammad Alif to the front of this little battle here in the 3rd position. Excuse me. R. Muhammad Alif is going to look to take advantage and try to move himself up into 2nd position, but Connor Levy's going to fight that one back on the inside of the dogleg. Coming into turn 1 now, Levy on the inside. He's not going to be able to get there as Connor Levy slides up the track. It's going to have to let Austin DeLong off the gas and put him on the brakes a bit, as it looks like he's going to be under pressure from Tristan Yoder, who has the freshest tires in the field right now. Further throughout the pack, Brett Crane, we saw him get into some scraps earlier, as well as be involved in that previous wreck He's currently sitting in the 7th position, but Joshua Teague's in 9th. He's pitted for some reason under green. Maybe he had a penalty. Not sure. We'll get more information on that when we can. But right now, Tristan Yoder gets a little bit loose, and that's going to give Rhett Crane the opportunity to maybe slide in underneath him as they come down into turn 3 now. He's going to get deep on the brakes, Rhett Crane. We saw him do that earlier to Connor Levy and Austin DeLong. He's not going to get there for Tristan Yoder, as Yoder goes around the outside and tries to get to Austin DeLong as he makes a move on Connor Levy now. Connor Levy doing a good job of holding off DeLong behind, but Levy is in that tricky situation of trying to overtake and defend at the same time. It's really hard to do, especially around this track, because if you lose speed coming out of the corner, you're just going to be a sitting duck for the car behind, which Austin DeLong certainly is looking to hunt right now as he comes out of turn 4. As he goes side by side with Tristan Yoder to his outside. Looks like Rhett Crane's going to stick a nose in and potentially make it 3 wide, but no, he thinks better of it. DeLong still on the inside of Tristan Yoder. You see Teagues there on the inside of the apron, getting out of the way as he's a lapped car at the moment. But Muhammad Alif is going to the front of the pack right now as Tristan Yoder makes his way to the outside of DeLong, and Yoder is going to get the move done into turn 3 around the outside. Really aggressive move from him as he looks to eye up a move on Connor Levy now. Yoder's got some great pace in that 09 Robert Morris machine. He's doing a fantastic job at the moment off this restart. Through turns 1 and 2, but at the front of the field right now, Scott Ratliff is hunting down Zachary DeWale. Ratliff has done a fantastic job off the restart. These two have pulled out a gigantic gap behind, about 1 second, 1.5 seconds from Ratliff to Alif. Scott Ratliff, I think he came in, he was the lucky dog when the first caution came out, and being the only lucky dog, no one was going to start in front of the cars that waved around. He took the opportunity to be the only car that time that was a lap down to take tires, and I think it's paying off for him as he looks to hunt down Zachary DeWale and really challenge for the win here, as DeWale has not been under this much pressure the entire race, as it looks like Scott Ratliff has a really good turn 3, but DeWale has a great turn 4 and gets a fantastic exit there. Further down throughout the field, Rhett Crane, DeLong, Yoder all going side by side to get that last top 5 position at the moment. These guys have been going at it since this restart. It looks like Rhett Crane's diving to the inside of DeLong now. DeLong to the outside in that blue 22 machine. Rhett Crane in the 6th car on the inside. That red and white Ball State machine coming out of turn 2 now. There's a crash in front. Scott Ratliff has crashed. There's contact. Tristan Yoder couldn't avoid the incident. It looks like behind them, Tristan Yoder spun in front of the field, and I think he caught a couple cars in the incident. That is incredibly unfortunate for Scott Ratliff. I think he was just pushing a bit too hard. We'll get a replay of that spin from Scott Ratliff, but he was doing a great job of trying to chase down DeWale, and DeWale, I don't know if there was contact between the two of them or if Ratliff just, pushing too hard, just overstepped that boundary, that limit of grip just a little bit too much. We'll see here Scott Ratliff coming out of turn 2. Ratliff kind of in between he's on that low line there. I think he just gets a little bit on the apron, and that gets him so loose, overcorrects it, hits the outside wall, and great job to avoid most of the field, but I think he just backed up a little bit into Tristan Yoder, and Yoder, super unfortunate, as it looks like at the front of the field, a lot of our cars are coming to pit road for the final time tonight. DeWale comes to pit, Daniel stays out on the track, Alif, Levy, Crane, DeLong, Ratliff, all in the pits now. We'll see who can come and win the race off pit road. Looks like DeWale is going to win the race off pit road. Behind him, it's going to be Muhammad Alif, and his teammate from Ball State University, Rhett Crane, who barely avoided that wreck, will come out 3rd on pit road, followed by DeLong and Levy. Scott Ratliff, who caused the caution, coming out last on pit road, as a couple cars who are a lap down now come to pit. The only car on the lead lap at the moment who didn't take fresh tires that last time around was Bradley Daniels from Robert Morris University. We saw him have some good speed earlier on in this race. His last pit lap, I believe, was at 63, so he has 13 lap older tires compared to the guys who just pitted DeWale, Alif, Crane, DeLong, all pitted on lap 76 as we have 23 laps to go here in the Sandstorm 100. Your current leader, Bradley Daniels, leading through pit stops, but Zachary DeWale in second position behind him has had a fantastic race all night, led from the start, had a fantastic stroke of luck as the caution came out right before he was going to pit. He was the only car in the lead lap at the time when the caution came out, so that put the entire field a lap down and caused a bit of chaos on the restart. Elsewhere throughout the field, our biggest mover right now, Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College. He's up 4 spots. Excuse me, it's actually Ethan Decatur from Valparaiso University, that 00 car, up 5 since the start of this race, as he actually just dropped down another couple spots due to pit road issues, as a couple cars now up 4 spots. Bradley Daniels, Daniel Hunter, and Ethan Decatur all up 4 since the start of this race. Our biggest losers, Garrett Viton down 7, Treston Yoder down 6, and Connor Levy, he's down 4 spots, but this restart's going to give him the opportunity to make up a few more as the pace car lights go out. And we're getting ready to go green here after this third caution of the night. You know what they say. They say cautions breed cautions. That's especially true here in the CiL. Treston Yoder, Bradley Daniels, his Robert Morris University teammate, will lead the field to green in that white car on the inside. That PNC machine to his outside is going to be Zachary DeWale, the dominant car of tonight. We'll see what happens now that he's mired back in some traffic, potentially, if he doesn't get the lead off this restart. And then 2 Ball State University cars round out row 2. On the inside is R. Muhammad Leaf, and on the outside is Rhett Crane as they get ready to go green here in the CiL, coming to the Geico restart zone as Robert Morris's Bradley Daniels gets ready to step on the accelerator as they close up in the pack around him. Looks like DeWale wants to get a bit of a start as Bradley Daniels does get a start here, a really good start, as it looks like R. Muhammad Leaf is now going to look to the inside of Zachary DeWale. I think DeWale was caught sleeping a little bit there. He wasn't ready for that, as is a caution in the back of the field now. Caution is out. We'll see how the positions stack up. It looks like Scott Ratliff crashed in the back of the field. Caution right off that restart is going to neutralize the field here, and I think R. Muhammad Leaf was able to get the jump on Zachary DeWale, and he's going to have to relinquish that second position. He'll be starting second row for this 4th restart of the night, 4th caution. Now, definitely one of our more caution-filled races in the Prospect Series this season. Has been fairly clean so far, but this tricky track at Phoenix, you get short track characteristics and you get more intermediate, more higher bank track characteristics. 2 very different corners. It's so difficult to set up your car the way you want it here. Fixed setups though, so maybe, for some of these drivers, they might like it. Some of these drivers might say, oh, what? Come on, man, I suck in both corners. But regardless, they persevere, and we've seen some really good racing tonight. We're going to get a replay now of what happened to bring out that yellow flag. As Scott Ratliff here in the 747 off the Geico restart zone. He's going to be in that red and yellow pit state cars. He goes to the dog leg, and I think he just turned a bit too hard left as he got off the banking and onto the apron. He just lost it, and the pace car comes out, and that's going to put a damper on his night. He ran a really good race. Unfortunately, spun from the 2nd position, had some speed, and he's mired back in the 8th position now. Not a whole lot of cars on the lead lap, though. Andrew McCall just got your lucky dog wave around, so he's going to be back on the lead lap in 9th. I think a lot of cars were lapped by Zachary DeWale in that first stint before the first caution, just because of how not only did he not pit while everybody else pitted, DeWale just had blistering speed, was able to lap a couple cars before the pit stop cycle started. As it looks like as they come to the stripe now, we should be at 1 to go here. The pace car lights should go out, hopefully. We'll get this race started as soon as we can. Coming around the stripe now, out of turn 4. Pace car lights stay on, so probably 2 more laps to go now. Got Ratliff on pit road after his little spin, probably just repairing a little bit of damage. Coming back around turns 3 and 4 now. This track undergoing reconfiguration a number of years now. Pit straight, or the start finish line, used to be on where the back straight is now, but they decided to put it on the exit of turn 4. Makes it a very unique location, very good view for fans as pace car lights do go out. R. Muhammad Leaf rolls to the outside of Bradley Daniels. Behind them, they'll line up 2x2. Your top 5 off this restart, the 521 car, Bradley Daniels, your leader at the moment, but R. Muhammad Leaf in second wants to move up into the first position. Zachary DeWale, our dominant car for most of the race, back in the 3rd position now. We'll see if he can make up some spots as Rhett Crane in 4th. Austin DeLong is your 5th place driver, rounding out your top 5 as they go side by side through turn 2. The pace car pulls away, and it'll give these drivers a long time to think about their restart as they pace down this backstretch at a cool 55 miles per hour. Crazy to think about these cars going 55 miles per hour as their safety car speed, pace car speed, is that's our normal driving speed on the highway, which goes to show just how skilled and fast these drivers are. As Robert Morris's Bradley Daniels pulls to the inside, hugs that yellow line as they pull up to the restart zone here. That blue restart zone is going to signify when they can go, and when Bradley Daniels can step on the gas, which is now, looks like R. Muhammad Leaf was caught sleeping this time around as Zachary DeWale is going to pull it down the bottom of the dogleg. He wants to get that 2nd position as fast as he can, and he'll get it done before they even reach the braking zone of turn 1. Behind them, it looks like they're single filing out. Rhett Crane, our Muhammad Leaf's teammate, is on the outside of Austin DeLong at the moment. He's going to get that move done around the outside, and Zachary DeWale is going to be making a move for the lead here. Coming down into turn 3 on the inside of Bradley Daniels, that's the 02 car of DeWale. St. Clair College's Zachary DeWale wants to get back into the lead and stretch his legs like he has done the first 3/4 of this race as he goes to the bottom of the dogleg, trying to defend from our Muhammad Leaf and make a move at the same time on Bradley Daniels. It looks like he'll get that done middle of the corner. New tires. Bradley Daniels was on 13-lap older tires. That goes to show how important tires are, but Bradley Daniels fighting back against the 2 Ball State cars as DeWale wants to stretch his advantage over our Muhammad Leaf. Our Muhammad Leaf gets into the side of Daniels there as it looks like they might go 3 wide coming off the corner here into the dogleg. Rhett Crane goes for the crazy move, and he goes to the middle there rather than the bottom, but side by side, Leaf and Daniels are into turn 1. Leaf's going to have that inside line, and Daniel just holding on for dear life on old tires as there are only 14 laps to go in this race, and Leaf, he's going to get that move done. And Daniels, the pressure isn't over yet, but he's fighting back around the outside of our Muhammad Leaf. I think Leaf is going to get that move done now. I think there's no stopping that as old tires just can't hold on, but Daniels wants to hold on to that 3rd position now as he goes side by side with Rhett Crane. He'll hold on the outside of the dogleg. Rhett Crane sends it deep into turn 1. I don't think Bradley Daniels was expecting that as he had to pull out of it a little bit as Rhett Crane on the inside there. We've seen aggressive moves from Crane all night, late on the brakes, and he's going to try to get the move done into turn 3 now, later on the brakes than Daniels, but Daniels will carry the speed around the outside of the corner. We'll see what he can do. It looks like he almost hit the wall there as Rhett Crane dives to the bottom of the dogleg, using that to shortcut the track, as my words get mixed up in my mouth, as positions get mixed up on the track, as Rhett Crane gets the move done for 3rd position. 2 Ball State cars in the top 3 now as Zachary DeWale stretches his lead at the front as Austin DeLong now wants to make a move on Bradley Daniels. We saw these guys racing hard earlier. I think old tires were just not the move for Bradley Daniels. He probably thought that he was going to get a little bit more out of older tires, but he probably was losing about a second a lap in all things given. But DeLong now in that 4th position, trying to make a move. DeLong is going to try to cut to the inside of Daniels. Daniels is going to defend it, and DeLong's going to go outside, and DeLong can't quite get there as the move's blocked by Daniels. He's going to be coming under pressure from Connor Levy from Arizona State now. Looks like Levy's going to cut the dogleg hard as both Daniels and DeLong cut the dogleg as they come into turn 1. Still not quite close enough for DeLong as he's going to go deep into the corner. He's going to try to carry as much speed on exit here as he can. Up at the front, it looks like Rhett Crane and our Muhammad Leaf are getting closer and closer. Rhett Crane might have that short run speed he needs to move himself up past his teammate into the 2nd position here. But we have pretty much 3 battles, only a couple tenths separating them from 2nd and 3rd, 4th and 5th, and 6th and 7th, all separate battles there as Rhett Crane wants to dive to the inside of his teammate, but his teammate says, no, please, let's be courteous here. We're teammates, but teammates a name only, but on the track, they want every position they can. 8 laps to go here from Phoenix Raceway for the CiL Sandstorm 100. Red Crane trying to make a move on his teammate for the second position and maybe challenge for the win if there's enough time, but Muhammad Alif has something to say about that at the moment as they come out of turn 2. Alif still in front, but for how much longer can he hold it off? Red Crane is always deep on the brakes and deep into the corner there in turn 3 and 4, way up the track. He's lost a lot of time from that. I think he's going to regret that one looking back as he's lost a couple tenths to his teammate up in the front. We'll see if he can regain that as Alif takes the higher line into turns 1 and 2. Further back in the pack, Connor Levy is trying to make a move on DeLong now. Behind him is Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College. Excuse me, St. Clair College. No, that's actually his teammate, the 42 of Garrett Viton. It looks like he's trying to get some laps back. Daniel Hunter is still a couple seconds behind Connor Levy, so Connor Levy doesn't really have to worry about losing any positions here if he can't get the move done on DeLong, unless he spins, of course, but highly unlikely given how fast Levy has been, how consistent he's been this race. As Scott Ratliff is sizing up a move on Daniel Hunter for the 7th position. Ratliff has had a very up and down race. I think strategy put him at the front of the pack in the midway point of this race, but an unfortunate spin coming out of turn 2 really mired him back to the back of the lead lap runners, as he's now a couple tenths behind Daniel Hunter, and Daniel Hunter is starting to stretch those legs. As we have 5 laps to go here from Phoenix Raceway. Up front, Zachary DeWale has a 7/10 of a second lead over Muhammad Alif. Alif under pressure from his Ball State teammate in Red Crane as they round out your top 3. A battle for the 4th and 5th position in Bradley Daniels and Austin DeLong. And Connor Levy is eyeing up a top 5 finish as well from Arizona State. And for a good finish here at the end of the race, only 4 laps to go now as DeWale comes out of turn 2. That's St. Clair College car. Say that 3 times fast, man. It's been a tongue twister all night. Is stretching his legs over the Ball State duo here as it looks like Bradley Daniels and Austin DeLong are going side by side now. DeLong on the outside, on Bradley Daniels on the inside. Daniels is going to try to cut the dog leg and see what he can to see if he can use it to hold onto the position, and he sadly cannot as DeLong moves up in the 4th position. And Connor Levy gets into the wall. Connor Levy in the back of Bradley Daniels. He's going to have to turn right to avoid more significant contact, and a really heads-up play from Connor Levy and Bradley Daniels there just to avoid more significant contact. I'm not sure if Levy thought that Daniels was going to go a bit slower than he was going, or if he just completely misjudged it. But Levy does a good job of avoiding significant contact there, other than between himself and the wall, of course. But unfortunate for Levy, he had some good speed, but he's going to have to worry about looking behind him and making sure that he doesn't lose that 6th spot as at the front of the field. DeWale stretching his legs as he comes to the line now. It's going to be 1 lap to go here from Phoenix Raceway for the CiL Sandstorm 100. Barney's waving that white flag as Muhammad Alif is closed within half a second of Zachary DeWale, but DeWale only has 4 corners to go as he enters turn 1 at the moment. He's just got to keep it together here as he exits turn 2. Are we going to see any Chastain moves here? I wouldn't be surprised if we try to see something happen as DeWale has a 4/10 of a second lead coming out of turn 2. Into the final corners now. DeWale into turn 3. Not enough. Alif cannot get there as DeWale comes out of the 4th corner now. He's going to win your CiL Prospect Series race here from Phoenix Raceway. A great effort from DeWale. He was the fastest car all night as behind them it looks like we had a bit of contact between DeLong and Daniels maybe as DeLong rounds out your 5th position. Fantastic race from DeWale. He really, really dominated this race tonight, and I don't think you can say anything else about it. From the start of the race, he pretty much put the entire field a lap down, and then from there, he caught a little bit of traffic, a little bit of bad luck off restarts, but in the end, he pulled it out and was able to take the victory here for the Sandstorm 100. Zachary DeWale, burn it down, my friend. You have earned it as you pull up to the stripe, grab that flag from Barney, and enjoy your victory tonight. As we see Muhammad Alif giving a little bit of a congratulations there as DeWale starts to burn it down. Fantastic race from Zachary DeWale tonight. Absolutely dominant from start to finish. He had some adversity in there, but really showed out tonight and really demonstrated that he deserves to be a CiL Premier Series driver. And he'll definitely race for the win tomorrow night as well. Same place, same time, CiL Premier Series race from Phoenix Raceway. It's going to be a fantastic effort from everyone. We'll see if we can get some of our top three drivers into the booth and get some interviews going. We get a look at some of our fans in the stands. We get to see what they are seeing, which is a lot of each other right now. I don't think that's necessarily appropriate to show on broadcast, but fans deserve some privacy too, folks. As we're gonna get some of our top three drivers in the booth now. It looks like joining us in the booth first, it's gonna be Rhett Crane. Joining us in the booth now is Rhett Crane from Ball State University, our third place finisher for this evening. Rhett, congratulations on a fantastic race. Definitely super exciting in the end there to watch you and your teammate battle it out. Were you battling your teammate any differently than you would any other driver, or did you just see him as another car in the track to pass?
Oh, absolutely. No matter what, the goal is always to have as many Ball State cars on the podium as possible. And so just, trying to race them all being cognizant of where we are on the track and what this means for the university itself.
Yeah, Rhett, I think we saw you had a little bit of trouble in that first stint with some tire wear. You kind of falling back through the pack. When those cautions started coming out, do you see that as an opportunity to move your way back to the front of the field?
More so just an opportunity to change strategy. With guys like Zach and any other front runner, you have to kind of have a different strategy to him, or else you're just going to fall into the line and risk just getting left out to dry. So whenever you have guys that are that talented, you always want to try to take a different strategy. So that's why we saw the cautions as. That's why we pit on a different cycle, and then we all wound up being on the same cycle at the end with the other caution. But yeah.
Yeah, well, Rhett, congratulations tonight. You were up a lot of spots, up 4 spots since the start of the race. Before we send you on your way, does anybody want to thank or shout out on the broadcast this evening?
Absolutely. As always, my spotter Caden always helps me out throughout these races. Couldn't do without him. Ball State itself, my teammates Alif, Cody, who couldn't make it tonight, Andrew, and just everyone for watching. Thank you.
Well, Rhett, congratulations once again on the third place finish this evening. You definitely put on a good fight to the end, and we hope to see you again up here in the booth sometime soon.
Thank you.
And that was Rhett Crane, our third place finisher for this evening. But he put on a great fight with his Ball State teammate. And speaking of Ball State teammates, joining us in the booth now is going to be your second place finisher for tonight's CIL Prospect Series race. It's Ard Muhammad Alif out of Ball State University. Uh, you know, Alif, you ran a fantastic race tonight. I think we saw you have some tire troubles in that first stint, and you kind of fell back through the pack. When you pitted, were you expecting to hopefully get the undercut and maybe preserve your tires more in that second stint?
Um, hope I was hoping for that because I did pit like exactly at lap 50. So when the safety car came out, it was a bit of a relief for me because yeah, tires were dying off very quickly at this track. But yeah, in the end, it was all good.
Yeah, we saw you battling with your Ball State teammate Rhett Crane in that last stint for those last 10, 15 or so laps. Were you worried about you just want to hold on to your position, or are you just fighting them like you would any other car, and not worrying about the teammate aspect of things?
To be honest, my aim was Zach in front of me, not really whoever was behind me. So I was gonna defend like it was any other car because I knew I had to keep track position so that I could attack Zach if I had the chance. So I think that was my priority.
Yeah, Alif, we saw you ran a great race. I think it definitely played out for you in the end. A little bit of an unlucky first stint with tires, but a great comeback in the second half of that race. Before we send you on your way, is anybody you want to thank or shout out tonight on the broadcast?
Yeah, I think this is like our Ball State's first double podium. So I think hats off to Red and the whole team, Dan Marino and all everyone in the esports program. I'd like to give a shout out to my friends and my family who's watching, and yeah, thank you guys for hosting it.
Well, Alif, congratulations once again on the second place finish. You ran a great race tonight, and we hope to see you up here in the booth again sometime soon.
Thanks, Matthew. Cheers.
Once again, that was our Muhammad Ali from Ball State University. They got a great program up there at Ball State, and they definitely know how to run a good race. A lot of up and coming drivers there, and definitely something fun to watch and see develop throughout the season. But joining us in the booth now, it's going to be Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College. Zachary, congratulations on the race victory. You were the absolutely dominant car tonight. In that first stint, we pretty much saw you lap the entire field due to the caution cycle and how the green flag pit stops played out. What was going through your mind in that pit cycle, and were you thinking about coming to pit road and then the caution came out, or were you just going to go as long as you needed to go?
I was following. I can't remember who spun, but I was probably uh probably half a second behind him entering three, and I was following him into the pits, and he spun right in front of me, so I almost got collected in that first one. Um, but we just dodged it in time and were able to keep the car clean. We had to delay the pit stop a little bit, but it worked out.
Yeah, Zach, it's not very often that we see a car being the only one on the lead lap when they come to pit road due to a caution. But I think in the second half of that race, we saw you get into a little bit of traffic, a little bit more adversity there compared to the first half. Were you worried about your car in traffic? You know, you spent the first half of the race out in clean air in the front without much disruption. Were you worried about you at the end there, just having other cars around you disrupting your clean air?
I was a little bit, but because this car's it's not the greatest in traffic. It gets just the characteristic of the next gen. It gets pretty tight and likes to wash up the track. But I ate my Ritz crackers before the race, and we got her done.
Well, Zach, it was absolutely a blast to watch you cut your way through the field after those restarts, and just an absolutely dominant performance tonight from you. Before we send you on your way this evening, does anybody want to thank or shout out on the broadcast?
Yeah, for sure. As usual, Jordan, Emily's dad, Riley, Athena, of course, up on the pit box for me today. Really helped me out, kept me saving my tires for that first stint, and kept my head on straight. So yeah,
Well, Zach, congratulations once again. We seem to see you up here every week for the CIL Prospect Series race, and hope to see you tomorrow night in the Premier Series race. And take it easy.
for sure. I'm hoping to be here too. I'll see you then.
And once again, that was Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College, your race winner tonight. He put on an absolutely dominant performance from pole to checkered flag. He was the car to beat all night long. We'll definitely have to watch out for him tomorrow night in the CIL Premier Series race. That race also at Phoenix Raceway. It's going to be 125 laps instead of the 100 laps tonight. Going to give drivers a bit more of an opportunity to stretch their legs in these longer green flag runs and see who has good race pace, who can really keep their cars under them for 125 miles here at this Phoenix Raceway, which is a really interesting track, and it's going to be a fun one to watch tomorrow. So be sure to tune in tomorrow night, 8:45, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or I guess daylight time now that the time's changed. But it's going to be absolutely incredible to watch. If you're looking for some CIL road action, be sure to tune in next week as the Formula C Series takes over on Monday night for their penultimate race. 2 races to go in that season. They're going to be heading to the Watkins Glen. It's going to be a fantastic race up in New York. Absolutely incredible track. It's going to provide some fantastic side-by-side racing. If you're looking for some CIL GT3 action, be sure to tune in next Tuesday as the Tin Tops head to Monza for the Temple of Speed, and that's going to be a good one to watch. But from myself at the CIL and everyone else here who makes this possible, as well as our drivers, we want to thank you for tuning in for tonight's broadcast of the CIL Prospect Sandstorm 100 from Phoenix Raceway. I'm Matthew Norberg once again, and we thank you for watching, and we hope to see you tomorrow night for the CIL Premier Series as they take on the Sandstorm 125.